Creating decals for your car with your Cricut and attaching it to your vehicle can be super easy using the wet method, and that's exactly what we're going to do here today. So what I'm doing right now is just cutting out some black matte Oracle 651 permanent vinyl that I will be using today. And the font that I used on here is from Creative Fabrica, and I can link that down below. But this decal that I am making is just some words that my cousin wanted on his truck. So it's super long. This design is 18 inches long by 3 inches high. And I'm just going to trim away the excess here because there's a lot of extra vinyl. And then we're going to get into how we're going to attach this to the vehicle. So pulling all this apart, as you can see here on the back of my vinyl, this was, like I said, the Oracle 651. I maybe should have showed you this before I chopped it up, but this is the vinyl I recommend and I prefer for using on cars and anything that will be outdoors. This stuff will last forever if applied properly. So I'm going to take this and cut it apart because I have two different pieces here, one for each side of his truck. And then we are going to weed this out. Now, if for any reason you have questions throughout this tutorial, make sure you just drop it down in the comments. I always go back and check those and I will answer as much as I can. But the weeding process here is pretty easy. And this Oracle 651 weeds really well. I just use the premium outdoor vinyl setting on my Cricut for cutting this out. And then we are ready to go. Like I said, this font I got from Creative Fabrica. I'll have that listed below, as well as this Duck brand peel and stick contact paper. This is what I use almost all the time for my transfer tape. You can get huge rolls and it's super cheap. This just seems to be the best that always works for me, and you can get a lot of uses out of one piece. So make sure you save the backing from this because you can always use it over and over again. It's impressive actually how many times you can use this. Now I'm going to take this contact paper and I'm going to flip this over and peel off the backing and lay this flat on my work surface where the sticky side is going to be up. When I have a large design, I find that it's much easier to lay the transfer tape down and then add the decal on the top of it that way, instead of having the decal flat and trying to lay the contact paper on top of that, if that makes sense. This just seems to work better. That contact paper lays flatter than that curly piece of vinyl. And we are going to attach both of these pieces onto here. And then I am going to grab my burnishing tool or my scraper tool. This one I have here I got from Tech Wrap when I ordered some vinyl from them. And I'm just going to press this down as well as I can. And I'm going to put that contact paper backing on here again and then press down the top parts as well. This way, with that contact paper backing on here, it's just easier to keep it without it sticking everywhere until I'm ready to add this to the truck. Then cutting these apart, we are almost ready to take it to the truck. And there we have both of our pieces. Now I measured out how far I wanted this from the sides of the truck, the way he wanted it, and I have the contact paper which is hanging over the top of that backer sheet. And then what I'm going to do here, I have a spray bottle that is filled with water and a few drops of Dawn dish soap. I'm sure any dish soap would work, but this is what I have. And I'm going to spray the truck as you saw there. And I actually use quite a bit. I do not use this sparingly. And then I go back and spray the vinyl. And what this does is it allows you to lay your design down, as you see what I'm doing here with my scraper tool. I'm just lightly pressing this down into place. And if you make a mistake, and this is why the wet method is so amazing, because you can peel this right back up again. If you were trying to do something like this, even if it's a small thing, I do this with keychains as well. If it doesn't lay exactly where I want it, you can peel it right back up again and try again. And then that makes it so much easier than trying to scrape it all off, because once the vinyl sticks down, it doesn't move. So this allows you to adjust where you need to. Now what I'm doing is just taking my scraper tool and I am pressing out all of the water. There is a lot of water under this transfer tape and we need to get all of that out of there. And this is also a good time where take a look over all of that vinyl and make sure there aren't any water bubbles under the vinyl. And you use your scraper tool and just push out those bubbles as well. It's super easy to do. And then we're going to wait a few minutes. I usually let this sit for about 5 minutes and then I come in and peel it off. I'm just dabbing with a paper towel all the extra water that was under there as I'm peeling this up. And you guys, this is it. That is all you need to do for the wet method. Have you ever tried this before? Did you find it difficult or super easy? I use this a lot, and especially on big projects like this. Like I said, this was 18 inches long, and on a curved surface, that was just the easiest way to get it where he wanted it. My cousin was in the Navy, he was a CB, and he is decking out his Jeep Gladiator with all the stuff. So here's another decal I did in the past, a couple years ago actually, and I used the wet method for this. This was one big piece that I had cut out, and as you can see, there are some really tiny details on here. And the wet method worked perfect for this, and I didn't have to worry about it going on crooked because I did peel it up once to replace it on both sides of the truck. And that's it, you guys. This method is super easy.